So the invention of a new material, a glue that had the property of just being sort of sticky, made it possible to solve a problem no one had even thought to solve before. Post-it notes are an example of a recently invented material that you've actually seen. But now let me show you some new material inventions, some inventions you might not have seen before. Invented materials that we might use in the future, like this stuff. It looks like a sheet of glass, maybe the glass for a window or something. Now, when you think of glass, you think of its property of being see-through or transparent. But this is no ordinary glass. It's different. It's called electrochromic glass, and watch what it can do. Inside the glass is a material that can switch from being clear to white depending on whether electricity runs through it. So all you have to do is plug this kind of glass into an electrical switch, and then you can choose when it's see-through and when it's not. Think of the situations where we use ordinary glass and what you could do instead with this new electrochromic glass. Like instead of having curtains to cover your windows, you could just flip a switch and make the glass white when you want privacy. Or instead of having to cover your car windows when you park your car, you know your car gets really hot on the inside? Well, now you could just turn the windows white to keep out the hot sun. Right now, it's really expensive to make electrochromic glass, which is why you probably haven't seen it yet. But if someone figures out a way to make this more cheaply, in the future, we might just use this kind of glass all the time. Here's another material we might use in the future. When you get it really cold, it has this amazing property of being able to float or hover when held near a magnet. It's a special kind of material that scientists call a superconductor. Now, just like electrochromic glass, it's really expensive to make this stuff. But you can probably come up with some ideas of awesome things we'll be able to do if scientists discover a way to make superconductors more cheaply. Like one example is to use it as a new type of sports equipment. Like, can you imagine skateboarding, but instead of having wheels, it hovers on the ground instead? A hoverboard. Incredibly, there are already companies working on this. Check this out. A company called Lexus has made one of the very first hoverboards, which they showed off in this commercial using trained professional skateboarders. You can see it's pretty hard to maneuver. This is a skate park that has magnets underneath the concrete so that this new hoverboard can actually be used. Look at that, hovering. I thought you might want to see a little bit more from this commercial, so I'll show you another clip.
It's not touching the ground. It's just hovering.
Isn't it fun to think about what new materials might make possible? What problems will they solve? What kinds of new tools and devices will we create using newly invented materials? Whether it's windows that can turn on or off, or skateboards that can hover. Maybe you can think of some ideas. What would you do with materials like these?